Hello, Jacob.
Hi, Brian. We're here.
All right. Robert, are you there?
Here.
Here.
And Julian
okay.
here too.
Hi,
Julia,
Brian.
hello. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. So we're about right on time.
Mm-hmm. Let me just say where we are here. We're the Smithfield Township Board of Supervisors Annual Reorganization Meeting. It's January 4th, 2021 at 4 p.m. And our chairman is Brian Barrett on the phone.
And Chairman Barrett, at this time, would like to begin the meeting at approximately 4:02 p.m. We can do this meeting right now. We can start with the reorg meeting where we have to appoint someone to act as a temporary commissioner. And
I'll nominate Brian Barrett for temporary chair.
oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. As temporary chair, I'm looking for motions for a motion to appoint a permanent chairman of the Board of Supervisors for Smithfield Township.
I would like to make a nomination of Jacob Pride.
A nomination.
But in saying that, I would also like to say that Brian Barrett has given this township many years of excellent service and taken us to the place we are now, and we wouldn't be in the good shape facing the future that we are in if it wasn't for Brian Barrett.
And I join in that sentiment.
Thank you. I thank you both. So now we have that recommendation, and what I will feel to do is that I'm going to just step aside and recuse myself only. But then I also have some remarks I'd like to make.
Okay.
Sure. Do you want to call a vote on the nomination?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. There is a nomination for Jacob Pride, and we'll call for a vote on that.
Aye.
Aye.
And Brian Barrett recuses himself. Jacob Pride, congratulations. You are the new chairman of the Board of Supervisors.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, buddy. So now you can move over one chair and take your sign with you. Okay. Now,
moving away so he can move over. We're keeping social distancing.
You can stay there for right now.
Oh, that's right. Leave him. That's true. Leave him where he is. Again, Jacob, I want to personally congratulate you, and as I tried to express in the past, I have faith in you, and I think the three of us working together will continue to keep Smithfield Township in the good graces it is in, and just flourish and move ahead. I tell you now that I'll be behind you and an ally and a source for you, and at 100%.
Thank you very much.
Now, I think we have some other things that the chairman of the board should be doing. I guess we have to look for an assistant. There's a couple other things there
Right.
on the end. So, Jacob, I believe it's in your hands.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Now that we've elected a permanent chair, do I see any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate myself, Robert Lebanon, for vice chair is what I am now. I'll continue in that position.
Okay. Second?
I'll second the motion.
Brian Barrett seconds the nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Robert Levenheim is elected vice chairman. And now I'd like to nominate Brian E. Barrett for secretary. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried, right?
And Brian E. Barrett is secretary. Okay. So now we're going to be moving on to public comment. There is no one here. Is there anybody on Zoom with us that would like to offer any comment? Julia Heilica, office manager, is checking.
Nope, just you, Barrett and Brian.
Okay. Seeing none, I'll move on to appointments, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently, where we will appoint and have roll call votes individually. It's going to be a little longer, but it's the best to make sure that we're in compliance, and there's a couple of different things in here. So, township engineer, do I hear a nomination or a motion for John Tressler and the firm of Bechet and James?
I'll make that motion. Both, yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
For alternate engineer, I'd like to nominate Sal Colazzo and the firm of Hanover Engineering, the only ones also interested in this position. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Township solicitor. Do I hear a nomination for Ronald J. Karasak, Esquire, and Karasak Law Offices at the rate of $198.50 an hour?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, made by Brian Barrett, seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Township treasurer. Do I hear a nomination for Frank Cefali?
I'll make the nomination.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Township special solicitor for bargaining unit and employee and labor law matters. Do I hear a nomination for Thomas Heimbach, Esquire?
Yes, you do. Definitely. Yes, you do, especially at this time of the year. So I'll make that nomination to appoint Tom Heimbach, a special solicitor.
Seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Township Roadmaster. Do I see a nomination for Edward McCormick?
Yes, I'll make
Now
that
make the
nomination.
motion. Sorry.
No
I'll
problem.
second Robert's motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 That. Township Zoning Officer. Do I hear a nomination for Kenneth A. Wolf?
I'll make that nomination.
And I'll second that nomination.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alternate Zoning Officer. We have the firm of Bechet and James currently. I would like to keep it that way, so I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Township Building Code Official. We currently use Tino Noci and the firm of Base Engineering. Do I hear a nomination for him and his firm?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay, seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Township Sewage Enforcement Officer. We currently are using, thankfully, Scott Brown and Hanover Engineering. We've had numerous troubles trying to get others at this point because of retirements and whatnot. So it seems that they are likely the only candidates, and as we do not have an alternate. So do I see a nomination for Scott Brown and his firm?
I'll make the nomination.
Okay. Nomination made by Robert Levenheim. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Julia, can you see if we still have internet?
I wonder if we can talk Brian.
Is it down?
It says that we still have internet. Brian is no longer on the call.
But the Wi-Fi symbol's still at the top, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep, no, we're still live. We're still on.
Okay. Robert, can you give him a call to see if maybe something happened with his phone? I think the best course, I'd certainly like to proceed with all three supervisors unless there's some telephone issue.
Yeah, Brian, we lost you.
Is he calling back?
Will we just use my phone?
Yeah, just put it on the speaker.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're on speaker now on my phone.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you very much for the call back then.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just had the second for Scott Brown and Hanover Engineering. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Seeing as we don't have any alternate presented for an alternate sewage enforcement officer, and those that serve became our ultimate sewage enforcement officer, I'd like to table that item and try to get an alternate as soon as possible.
I totally agree with you, Jacob. We can't appoint, I guess, though, Scott Brown from Hanover Engineering as our SEO and table the item for the assistant. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay. Do I hear a motion to table the appointment for alternate sewage enforcement officer?
I'll make the motion.
Sure, I'll make that. Okay, Robert made it. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Julie, are you okay on typing?
Yep.
Okay.
Carry on, I'm keeping up.
Great. All right. Planning Commission Solicitor. I'd like to nominate Ronald J. Karasak, Esquire, and Karasak Law Offices at the same rate for us as $198.50 an hour. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Planning Commission Engineer. Keeping in line with that, I'd also like to nominate John Tressler and the firm of O'Shea and James, Inc. to remain Planning Commission Engineer. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Open Records Officer. I'd like to nominate Brian E. Barrett. Do I hear a second?
And what was that? What was that?
Open Records Officer, I guess, is the new term from the. It's still Right to Know Officer. It's just that title.
Right to know.
Yeah.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And in case we need assistance with that, it's good to have a second in case Brian is out or something like that. I'd like to nominate Julia Heilica to be Assistant Open Records Officer.
Second.
I'll make that motion, definitely.
Okay, second by Robert Levenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Township Pension Fund. We currently use the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System. Do I hear a motion to keep it as such?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Barrett. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Independent CPA audit firm. This is the Board of Supervisors' official notice that we intend to use an independent CPA firm rather in lieu of our elected auditors. So at this point, I'd like to nominate Kirk Suma and Company LLP for this year.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Okay, Robert seconded it. It's fine.
Aye.
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 Okay, Township Accounting Consultant. Currently, we use Corcoran, Hegarty & Associates on an as-needed basis. I think they'd be good to remain on the as-needed basis, even though, Lynn Pryor is certainly capable. She's learning new skills in QuickBooks, which will make things more efficient, and she'll be also aided by Julia Heilica, who is also training in new QuickBooks stuff. So, do I hear a motion to have Corcoran, Hegarty & Associates on an as-needed basis?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we thank both Lynn and Kirk Suma and Corcoran Haggerty for all of our financial work here, which is proven to be quite a bit, especially in a year with, dealing with the fallout of COVID. But we are leaving that year healthy, which is great, in both fiscal health and physical health, which we thank everybody for. Okay, for chairman of the vacancy board, I nominate Robert M. Moses. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Good. And that seconded?
Yep.
Robert, you seconded that motion?
I second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's good. We all know this gentleman. He's contributed to our community for quite some time at ESU and with our planning commission and several other, boards and charities and nonprofits. He's a wonderful guy, and we're thankful to have him.
Has he said that he would accept?
He did.
Good question.
Yeah. Emergency management coordinator. We had tabled that at the last reorg, but this time I believe it's in our best interest to nominate Julia Heilica to handle that, as she's here on a full-time basis. It's a very important role in this township and every township, but this is only the first step in that she would have to get trained, and then the governor makes the ultimate appointment.
Well, I tell you what, Julia, more power to you. But I did get involved early on in that, and it is so time-consuming. I'm just wondering if we could make a nomination of Julia, and in some way phrase it so that we would continue to search for another permanent representative.
Well,
And I say that only because Julia's skills, I'd hate like hell to have them eaten up on something that this is so time-consuming.
Brian,
It's almost like taking a language in college.
I see that there's a post of
Foreign
alternate.
language.
Brian, I see there's also a post of alternate emergency management coordinator. So I'll leave it to our chairman. What would you like to do?
Well, I was going to say I like what Brian said very much, because we have to be cognizant that she's taking on quite a few projects here at the township, especially in lieu of, all sorts of things, given COVID, given, new regulations passed by the federal government and the state government. So, yeah, I support Brian's, Brian, would you like to make a motion that she's the emergency management coordinator or nominated for that on an interim basis?
That's the motion I would make, Jacob, yes.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, pause for just a moment.
Sure. Fair. It's a lot. It is a lot of
Catching
things.
up for this.
Yes. No problem.
Now, do you want to nominate an alternative emergency management coordinator?
I'll get to that in 1 second.
I think that's what we're going to have to do, get back to our homework and hopefully
I
help
agree.
the right person.
Like you said, we're going to have to locate an alternate, because in our next session we're going to be appointing the only gentleman who did serve as an alternate to the zoning hearing board, and as such, he cannot, have any other township office. I believe that would be the phrasing under our zoning ordinance.
That's true. That's true. It speaks tomorrow night, actually, officially, for his first meeting.
Right.
But yeah, he can only serve as the zoning hearing board rep.
So I would move to table this and search for a viable candidate to be the alternate.
Agreed.
Okay. Seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Collector of Earned Income and LST taxes. I would move that we continue with Berkheimer and Associates. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next, reappointing working supervisors to part-time positions. Robert, would you like to make a motion that Brian is remaining secretary?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
And I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I nominate Robert Levenheim for Economic and Park Development Officer. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and Robert, would you do me the honor of nominating me for Digital Specialist and Parks Coordinator?
If I can remember it. I'll nominate you for what was it?
Digital Specialist and Parks Coordinator.
Digital Specialist and Parks Coordinator.
Okay, is there a second?
I'm impressed. I am impressed.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And we are going to develop formal job descriptions in order to satisfy the public, to make sure that they know that we are all doing things that are very integral to the development of the township, given it, the website, economic development, other digital services, distributing information, and speaking with the public, as Brian does. So all that's going to be very important. Next, do I hear a motion to request the township auditors to set our supervisor's rate of pay as employees at $23 an hour for secretary, $21 an hour for economic and park development officer, and $18 an hour for digital specialist and parks coordinator?
Are those the frozen salaries that we agreed to this year?
Yeah.
Okay, the budget. I'll make the motion.
Okay, and Robbie, you just referenced that we had decided that we would not take raises for this particular year.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct. Right.
All right. And I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next, we're setting the treasurer's bond. The current is $3 million due to all the liquid assets that we have, and they would have to be bonded as they are the ones who are able to disperse those funds. So do I hear a motion to set the bond at $3 million, an increase or decrease through the proper process?
I'll make a motion that we pay that service $3 million to bond our treasurer.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, appointing Oak Grove Municipal Compost Board voting delegates. Do I hear a nomination for Jacob A. Pride and Robert J. Levenheim?
Make your nomination.
I will make the motion that we appoint Robert as the multi-municipal compost board voting delegate.
Yeah, do you want to second that, Robert? And to include myself also, because I believe we have two members. And then, Brian, I was going to nominate you for alternate.
Good. I'd accept that.
All right, well,
Okay, so Robert seconded that. All in favor?
aye.
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 And appointing Oak Grove Multi-Municipal Compost Board alternate delegate, I nominate Brian Barrett. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Appointing voting members to the Monroe County Tax Collection Committee. Do I hear a nomination?
I do. Jacob, I'd like to appoint you as the voting delegate.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, state convention voting delegate. It appears that we are going to have a state convention. I don't know if that's actually going to be in April, seeing how the rollout of the vaccine is going. But I believe we will have one in some form, so I'd like to nominate our office manager, Julia Heilica, to be our voting delegate. Do I hear a second?
To be our voting delegate at the convention?
Yeah, for PSAP.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I definitely, if it hasn't been seconded, I'm certainly in favor of that.
Okay, seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor? Aye. Okay, appointing Council of Governments delegate. Robert is our current delegate. I would like to nominate him to be our delegate again this year.
I'll second the motion if he's willing.
I think this is an honor that goes only to someone who gets up at that time of the morning. But I'll accept, but it's difficult.
That's right. Took me right out of the running.
Okay. All in favor?
I'll make that motion, definitely.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Appointing an alternate delegate to the Council of Government. Do I hear a motion?
I'll nominate our chairman, Jacob Pride.
Second?
Second motion.
Okay. Seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next is adopting resolution number 461. In the past, our financial depositories have been done by motion, but I am told that now actually has to be done by resolution. So they're all in keeping the same services. I'll read this briefly. It says, whereas the Township of Smithfield Board of Supervisors designates certain financial institutions as depositories for township monies. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the Township of Smithfield hereby designates as depositories for calendar year 2021 the following listed banks or institutions, and they include East Stroudsburg Savings Association, First National Bank, the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System, People's Security Bank, and the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust, which is PLGIT. And then it also states that all certificates of deposit purchased will be done so only with FDIC member institutions. I don't believe we currently have any of those, but I believe that part is required by the resolution. So does anybody have any questions before I ask for a motion?
I do not.
I do not.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adopt resolution number 461?
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Ryan, when you are able to come in and sign, that will be signed by all of us.
But, amen. Okay, Jacob, I'll keep you appraised of when I'm going to be allowed to get out, take it out and visit.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next, township meeting location. Seeing as we still have this municipal building, I would like to keep it as such. So I'll move that we keep our meetings at the Smithfield Township Municipal Center, 1155 Red Fox Road, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Board of Supervisors meeting date. So this is one idea that I had which deviates slightly because I feel that we meet quite frequently, and I think it rushes a lot of people in a lot of different ways, particularly when it comes to financials and when it comes to getting Lois, the information that we need. So my proposal would be that we actually shift to one non-voting scheduling, because we can always have more, but one non-voting work session the second Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m., and one regular meeting the fourth Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. Looking for feedback on that idea. We can always schedule special meetings, but I feel like this would give us the opportunity to, one, if we have public hearings, we schedule them for the days where we have a non-voting session. That way we can prepare ourselves before voting on, lengthy conditional uses, which reviews, may or may not have just come in on. Things like that, having our discussions with, developers who come in to propose ideas with us. I'm looking for feedback on that idea.
Really quick, you said second Tuesday would be a 4 p.m. work session.
Yes.
And the fourth Tuesday would be a 7 p.m. regular business.
Right, that's the proposal.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
And with that,
Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just thinking, are we still going to schedule work sessions each Wednesday as needed, or do you feel that these 2 dates would be enough? We're meeting probably at least four times a month, just to keep up with what the heck's going on.
Right. I mean, at this point, I think we could always say that we would schedule, that we could advertise that we could have work sessions on, say, the other Tuesdays at 4. I think it'd be good to keep it to one set day. That way it doesn't prohibit, anybody also going to, say, zoning hearing board in the same week or planning commission. But I think, we could schedule, those work sessions. You could say we have at least one on the second Tuesday and then others as needed, but we try to limit those. We, of course, still have the meetings on the 20th and the 27th for Water Gap and for the paving bid, paver bid. opening. So we still have those where we could add additional items, but I think if we really limit it, it'll allow our staff to be in a better position to provide the most documentation, because they're already authorized, to pay bills, at the beginning of the year. This way, we could avoid having too many meetings.
Well, I have no strong feelings either way. I think this is worth a try, and one thing that does cross my mind is, with less sessions, we have less need for our solicitor to be here, for our engineer to be here, both of which cost us quite a bit of money when they're sitting here session after session. I don't know how it will work out, but I'm willing to try it.
Well, so just for my peace of mind here.
Right.
What we'll do is that originally we used to schedule meetings for the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. What we'll do now is designate the second Tuesday as a work session. Is that it?
Right, a work session
as an evening 7 p.m. meeting.
Right. So we keep those 2 dates, and we can always add more, but I'd like to see how this functions for at least, the first 2 months. We can adjust it, as necessary, but I'd like to give this a chance.
So the first Tuesday is a 4 p.m. work session.
Right.
The second Tuesday is a 7 p.m. Official session. Full session.
Yeah, regular business meeting.
And again, the whole philosophy behind that is to at least have one session in the evening when our community population would be able to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's perfect. It covers it.
Right, and then they'd both be streamed. Okay, so do I hear a motion to have the second Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m. be a non-voting work session, and the fourth Tuesday of each month to be a regular meeting at 7 p.m.?
Well, again, why would you have the second Tuesday as a work session vote if assembled? There are things before us that we can actually make decisions on. We're not going to say such that legally.
Breaking up.
Well, no, I heard what he said. I guess my thinking on this is that work sessions, are usually designed in other municipalities, to not necessarily be voting meetings. I mean, I'd be fine with giving that leeway, but if we were to ever vote on anything, I would want to advertise specifically for that week that it would be voting, because I think that this gives us the chance to put in front of us the things that we don't have to vote on, like when we had Troy come in to talk about, his right-of-way and the NIPD's permit. I think, having those sorts of meetings that don't need action, we could schedule specifically for that Tuesday, and then, the 2 weeks following would then be the regular meeting where we could act on anything that we learn, since most things are not necessarily pressing. We can, ratify bills, and in most municipalities they have one bill pack where it had been paid and another that's about to be paid. That's sort of my justification, is that I think that it gives us the chance to spread apart our business, but to do it more efficiently. If it doesn't work, I'd be more than happy to switch to having, Tuesdays as needed or something. But I think that this could work, considering all the things that we're doing.
Well, as Robert said, let's give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do I hear a motion to that effect?
That would be the motion, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next. Do I hear a motion to authorize the secretary and/or treasurer to pay bills and taxes when due to avoid penalties, and to transfer funds from one account to another when necessary?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that one. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next, setting the mileage reimbursement. So the IRS actually took it down to 56 cents per mile, which is, a revision down of 1.5 cents, I think. But so we've historically tied it to that.
Jacob, I just read in the PSAT's newsletter, if you will, today that they cited the IRS publication that says at 57.5. So maybe we could just say that we would abide by the official IRS rate, established rate.
Okay, do I hear a motion to that effect?
That would be my motion.
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll just make sure that I note that there. All right, next. Authorizing the secretary and/or treasurer to pay elected and appointed township officials and township employees the registration fee and all expenses incurred, plus mileage, to attend conferences and conventions, and attendance at the conferences and conventions must be approved by the Board of Supervisors prior to attendance.
Conventions, are they going to happen again?
Well, I mean, this has been on our reorg meetings, for years, so it's a historic thing, but...
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so I meticulously wrote this one out because I want to make sure it's all covered. This is authorizing paid holidays and office closures. So this would include the full-time employees, because in their contract it is set by that, but it includes it mentions our reorg meeting by reference. So none of the holidays are changing, except I feel that we gave, because we set the precedent this year, which Brian came up with, that I liked, of the 3 hours of paid leave even for part-time employees on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I'd like to include that also in our proposals, and also for the office closures too, to keep all 3 of those consistent.
That makes sense. Reasonable.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, supervisors as liaisons. So the first one would be Sewer Authority. Because Robert is doing the economic development and had the expansion of the sewer up through, 209 and where the ED zone is, and something very near and dear to his position, I'd like to nominate him to be the liaison between us and the Sewer Authority.
Would you like him to serve on the Board of Supervisors, the board?
I would.
Okay, well, I think, Jacob, that's the way we should phrase it, so that we populate the board. We have that opportunity, so we would possibly phrase it in such that Robert Levenheim would be appointed as a board member of the Smithfield Sewer Authority.
Right. I think Lois put that on the regular meeting following this one. So I think we'll do it then. But I'd like to Julie, did you say something?
It is on the regular.
Okay. So I'll because of those connections. One, I'd like to thank Brian for his work on the Sewer Authority, because he was instrumental in getting these bonds that made the development of the facility, which is a great facility, which has amazing usage, and working on the Sewer Authority that now has a surplus. I'd like to thank him for that. So I move that we nominate Robert Levenheim to be the supervisor's liaison to the Sewer Authority.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so currently I am the liaison to the Park Commission and the Regional Park Committee, neither of which meet, but I would like to remain that liaison.
That motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'm grouping these sort of in twos. Broadhead Watershed Association and Cherry Creek Watershed. I'd like to nominate Brian Barrett to be our liaisons to both of them.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
And I would accept that, thank you. Did you say all in favor, Jacob? I'm sorry.
Yep, I just did.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Open Space Advisory Committee. Robert, you, basically do that since I've taken on EMS, at Bushkill, so I'd like to nominate you to be the, our advisor, or our liaison to the Open Space Advisory Committee. That's the open...
County committee?
No, that's the one that you currently go...
Oh, right, that's what I do now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Township Planning Commission. Robert, you are also currently that, and seeing as you're with the Sewer Authority, well, you will be, and with the, Economic Development role, I'd like to nominate you to, remain our liaison to the Planning Commission.
Fine, I would accept.
All right, aye. So, yeah, all in favor? Robert's remaining there? Aye. Okay, and seeing as I am the Bushkill EMS liaison, I would like to be the liaison to the other emergency services as well, as we try to build our connection with both of them. Well, both forms.
That's a good idea.
Sorry, Robert, did you say that you make the motion?
I make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now, I move that we adjourn our reorganization meeting. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I did not see that. Is there any public comment on the reorganization meeting before we go to our regular meeting following reorganization? Seeing none, my motion to adjourn the reorganization meeting stands.
And I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Brian Barrett and Robert Levenheim at the same exact time.
Robert Levenheim.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Julia, do you need a second to catch up?
Let me transition my documents, please.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, Jacob, if you can hear me, job well done.
Thank you very much.
I'm ready when you are.
You ready? Okay. All right, I call this meeting to order. This is the regular business meeting immediately following our reorganization of the Board of Supervisors in Smithfield Township. Our first order of business, the minutes of the December 30th, 2020 work session, the final meeting we had last year. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes?
Excellent. Notes by Julia. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
Minutes, I should say.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve them?
I'll make the motion.
I participated in that, correct?
That one you were not present at.
Okay, so then I'll abstain from voting.
Okay, all in favor?
We don't have a second.
Oh, I will second it then. Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Okay, public comments on the agenda. There's still no one here with us at the Municipal Center. But I don't think anyone's joined us on Zoom since. If you have, please make your voice known. Okay. Julia's still gonna go to the computer. Okay, nobody is there, so I will move on. We do not have any public hearings or plans to act on or unfinished business for tonight. So, first, under new business, a motion to approve the payment of the of the General Obligation Bond Series 2015 due January 15th, 2021 in the amount of, let's see, I had the wrong figure on my document. Well, the total is $677,411.25, but as Brian Barrett noted earlier, the Sewer Authority portion of that they are reimbursing us is $463,750. So we're not actually on the hook for the whole thing there.
No, thank goodness.
Right. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve that payment?
I make a motion that we do pay that. That we do pay the full amount and accept the reimbursement from the Smithfield Sewer Authority.
Okay. And seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to authorize attendance of supervisors, office manager, and roadmaster at the PSAT's annual convention, and pay registration fees, lodging, meals, and mileage, and hourly rate as set forth in the Pennsylvania Second-Class Township Code. I don't know if all of us are going to go, but I feel that since the process is now ongoing, we should at least get on the ball. I believe we have rooms held over from last time, or at least we paid PSATs. Julia, do you recall when they canceled it? I don't remember.
I wasn't here.
Right, you weren't here, but I feel like you mentioned it. You weren't here, but okay.
I'll look into it and I'll get an answer for you guys and we'll find out what's going on.
Okay, because I don't think they announced every single thing that'll be there yet. Because I know in the past Ed has gone for the trade show and then he came back without staying the full 3 days or something like that.
Exactly.
I can find out what's going on, where we stayed, the hotel room, last year, and I'll get back to you guys with the answer.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion then with that provision that our office manager find out what is existing in terms of our reservations.
And then the selection of who can attend, as you mentioned, and probably every other year likes to get down there to just take a look around for that beginning, and that would be the Monday. So I think he comes down Sunday, stays the night, goes Monday, and then goes home. And the supervisors, of course, who would you want to consider, Julia, if you'd want to consider, and this board feels that it would behoove us to also have you attend and cover all your costs as we would for the township supervisors. You just have to let us know.
I think that would be an excellent idea. In fact, I think Julia and Jacob should go this year if there is one. I'll sit it out.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get vaccinated by then. I really don't know if this is going to happen by April, but
I don't think so.
I don't either. I really don't.
I mean, you know how many thousands of municipalities there are? That's, that number times between 3 and 5 for the number of supervisors from each of them, plus one of their staff members, 2 maybe, plus, the other presenters. So let's see if we can have a gathering of, I don't know, quite a bit of people.
Get a feel for if it's really going to happen. As long as they get back to us, if we commit, say for 2 people, individuals, as long as we can get our registration and those kind of fees returned to us, that we have nothing to lose.
Right. That sounds good. So I'll make a motion with all of those provisions that be included. Do I hear a second? Oh, Robert seconded. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next is a motion to appoint Smithfield Township Planning Commission members. So I came up with a random assortment, keeping in mind regional balance. We have a very balanced planning commission as it is right now. We have a few members, 2 members from the Shawnee area, 2 from the Lake Valhalla, Twin Lakes States area, and we also have 2 that are from, closer to where I'm at. So keeping that in mind, my idea, because we have to stagger these terms, my proposal was Scott Amori, term ending January 6, 2025, which is the reorganization for that year. The same with Robert Moses, and I'll note that PSAT says there would be no conflict with him also being on the vacancy board, so he can do both, mostly since the vacancy board, only bad things can cause the vacancy board to ever convene. Let's hope that doesn't happen. And then I have Kurt Wickman.
I'm sorry, Jacob.
No,
you go to the common court, you go to the court systems of Monroe County. The last thing we need is that to happen.
Right, because that was quite costly, I think, for Pocono Township, our friends there. Yeah. Next, I also have Kurt Wickman and Michael Albert. Their terms, my proposal would end at the reorg in 2024. And then the next, and I'll note that Kurt is, I believe, from near Lake Valhalla, from my understanding, and Michael Albert is, of course, from Shawnee on Delaware, and David Strunk and Douglas Shriver, they're both from different areas as well, and I propose that their term would end at the reorganization meeting in 2023. So that staggers the terms and keeps us in line with the municipality's planning code, and it finally means we will have 6 full members with real, full terms, and then we have to find a 7th candidate.
We need a 7th candidate, you're right, for the planning commission, we need another candidate for the sewer authority, and I believe we need 2 more for the sewer authority, and at least 1 more for the zoning hearing board.
Right.
So maybe we could put our minds together and get out there and see.
Sure. With that in mind, do I hear a motion to make the appointments for the terms that I just described?
I'll make that motion. Yep. Okay.
Seconded by Robert Lovenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have a motion to appoint Smithfield Township Zoning Hearing Board members. As we noted earlier, Guy Miller has graciously volunteered to serve on this board, and therefore cannot be our, EMC or alternate EMC. But we really need somebody. We actually will have now 3, the minimum quorum, for them to operate for their hearing, which is later on. Their hearing is tomorrow with their reorganization. Okay.
They have a reorg in the hearing tomorrow, I think it's a cell tower situation.
Right.
And they,
7 o'clock.
I think, Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that Lois determined that their solicitor and all 3 of the members will be there, ergo a quorum.
Yes, Lois has been handling all of the zoning hearing board details.
Perfect. So therefore, I have Guy Miller listed for a term ending January 5th, 2026, because these are 5-year terms, and then John Moore with a term ending January 2nd, 2024. The reason for that is that we cannot have more than 1 term expire at the same time. When we nominated Mr. Fuller to serve, he actually has a term that ends in 2025. So the only way to make sure that the other terms didn't end on the same period is to stagger it like this, just like the zoning hearing board. So, do I hear a motion to make the appointments of Guy Miller and John Moore with those terms as I described?
Motion. I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Brian Barrett, seconded by Robert Lovenheim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is something that I added. It's proven very difficult to find more than 3 members to serve on the zoning hearing board. So I was wondering what the perspective of all of us was on potentially amending that ordinance to go with a board of 3 to make sure that that board continues to serve. It meets very infrequently, but those are very important decisions that they have to make.
Well, Jacob, that's a good point. When we thought we would have some other people coming back to us, that didn't happen. And it wasn't for Guy Miller, we would be really hard pressed. So reducing that to 3 kind of makes sense.
And Robert, how do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. I agree with Brian.
Okay, so I think maybe next time we see Ron, we fulfilled the regular meeting requirement, but I feel like we should probably still have a meeting, follow the new schedule this month, and have Ron at one of those meetings. Then we can discuss with him,
We'll have to reach out to him and let him know that.
Right, absolutely. Okay. So, all right, quick discussion, but a good one. Okay, now is what we talked about earlier, the sewer authority. Do I hear a motion to appoint Robert Lovenheim to the sewer authority for the term ending January 5th, 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And amazing thing that I'll note is that when we, say 2025, 2026, I just think about, the work that we do oftentimes pays off years later, and it's amazing to see, what supervisors here have accomplished in the past, and what I hope that all three of us will really work together on some great, things this year. So I just like to note that.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
It's a good solid group we have.
Absolutely. Now we have to discuss documentation regarding the Tarco leaf collector that caught on fire. Julia, do you want to preface that for us?
Yeah, I can take it from here. So we've heard back from EMC Insurance about the Tarco leaf collector. If we take the settlement, and they take possession of the Tarco leaf collector, we will get $24,500. At this point, our roadmaster, Ed, has suggested that we do not fix this piece of equipment. We prefer to get a leaf truck rather than repair the damaged equipment, and have a pull along behind it again. At this point, if you prefer to repair the equipment, it's going to cost us in total approximately $42,000, so we would be looking at about another $20,000 out of pocket. What you guys decide to do is up to you, but it is the recommendation of our roadmaster that we take the insurance money and wait for another round of grants to see what we can do to apply for a leased truck. Part of Ed's thinking is that he has the equipment that he needs to get through next year. And the Act 101, Section 902 grant that we got the leaf trucks for in previous years have a 10% match. We could take this insurance money of $24,000 and use it as a match for an additional
$240,000.
Thank you. So that money might be better spent using it as a match.
So is that grant closed next year? I think Brian forwarded us an email that he got from someone saying that grant was it postponed, Brian? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, they're saying postponed, but not canceled. They weren't that strong, Jacob.
Okay.
But the other thing is, it does give us some time, and he said he could get through it. And then we're going to go, instead of having a couple of different pieces, we'll have one. I think it's going to last us a hell of a lot more long.
Oh, yeah. That sounds good to me.
Make a motion, we take the money and...
That was good. You get right out of my mouth.
Was that, okay, is that an Eagles song?
Motion that we take the money and run.
Is that Eagles or Steve Miller Band? I don't know. Okay, so motion made by Robert, seconded by Brian Barrett. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to write that on my thing, take the money and run. Okay, next we have a motion to authorize the meeting advertisements, and that would be for the special work sessions for January 20th, 2021 for Water Gap Capital Partners, LLC, hopefully the finale of that conditional use application. And the second one would be January 27th for our determination whether to accept or reject bids for the road paver. So,
okay.
Do I hear a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we advertised it for the road paver bid.
Yes.
The bids.
The road paver is advertised in today's paper. It will be advertised again on January 11th. The bids are due before no later than 1 p.m. on Thursday, January 21st. They will be opened at 1 p.m. And then you guys will have the opportunity to review them, and you'll look at them on the 27th.
And that includes the postmarks, right? Because we all know that the United States Postal Service is being hijacked.
The way the advertisement is written is that we have to receive the bids no later than 1 p.m. So even if
they can bring it in.
Yeah, they can walk it in physically, and we can say, yes, it's 12:55. We've received it.
Okay. All right. Well, do I have a motion to authorize those advertisements for those two meetings?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Made by Brian Barrett, seconded by Robert Levenheim. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we don't have any bills to be paid. Are there any public comments? Julia will make her now routine sprint over to my laptop. We will figure out some solution for that later. But there's nobody on Zoom and there's nobody in the municipal center.
Ryan just off.
Okay. Now, the next thing I was just gonna have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, second. Oh, Brian's calling. Okay.
Got just back on the time to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, you didn't
Brian makes a motion,
Oh,
I'll
Brian.
second it.
Hold on, can you make that public?
Well,
Out of your ear?
Yeah,
see, I gotta make it public, let me see if I can do this.
yeah, no, you could definitely do
Okay.
that. Yeah,
You wanna
okay.
say that again, Brian?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting. We adjourn it at,
5:02.
yeah.
Okay, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned.
I'd like to just make the comment that I'm happy to have contributed two things to this meeting. One is to say I make the motion that, and the other is to say I second.
Okay.